Aloha and welcome to the 2022 Capstone Symposium. My name is Shayla Powell and I'm a candidate for the Masters of Social Work. I'm honored to present to you my research study, the qualitative exploration of the U.S. Army SHARP program's efficacy. In 2008, the Army implemented the Sexual Harassment and Assault Response and Prevention Program, SHARP, with an intent to provide awareness, prevention, and training to soldiers in order to combat the increasing number of annual cases. According to the Workplace and Gender Relations Survey of active duty members, more soldiers are reporting, however, the number of cases occurring still remains steady. These statistics solidify the fact that regardless of reporting, harassment and assault still occur within the ranks, which questions the effectiveness of the SHARP program. Most research is placed on the DoD-wide training or general sexual harassment and assault in the Army. Therefore, the need for more research is evident. This study aimed to provide deficiencies in the program by gathering input from soldiers' lived experiences in hopes to address this issue. April is Sexual Harassment and Assault Awareness Month in the military, so this study is particularly special in providing awareness just beyond the Army as well. Teal is a SHARP program color, so today, being an Army veteran myself, I'm dedicating this presentation to the men and women fighting this insider threat. The study used an exploratory and qualitative design with non-probability, purposive, and snowball sampling recruitment methods. 7 soldiers from specific demographics shown here were interviewed over Zoom using a semi-structured interview format. They were chosen to fill specific roles in order to see if gender, rank and authority, and sexual orientation influenced the program's perception. The research also explored how these demographics were represented. Imagine this. After a long day of training, a bunch of soldiers are packed into a hot, overcrowded room, watching the same PowerPoint training with the same vignettes of women being the victims that they just saw last year. They're presented again. Meanwhile, leaders are walking around catching soldiers falling asleep, and they make them stand in the back of the room to keep them awake. The rep asks questions, but no one answers. And at the end of training, half of the audience are still standing in the back of the room, struggling to stay awake. This training environment isn't conducive to impactful training, yet 6 of 7 participants verified this to be their typical SHARP training. The themes most frequently spoken is lack of quality and consistency. Firstly, of the content and delivery methods, which sounded like generally it's always the same thing over and over. You start to drown it out once you've heard the same thing a few times. It's just really drawn out and boring. The lack of quality and consistency in the SHARP representative sounds like it's imperative that program leaders select people because they're right for the job and not to check the box just to have a unit rep. When this happens, soldiers won't get the training they deserve. The rep should want to be in this position. Organizational lack of quality and consistency sounds like I've been in units where people have made reports and it almost always gets leaked to everybody in the unit. Then that person who made the report gets chastised and end up being a double victim. So the second someone makes a report, that automatically become the bad guy. Improper demographic representation is another theme highlighted. And this sounds like females are the poor, helpless victims that always need to stick together, and the men are always the aggressors. I guess that's really how it is most of the time, but I'm just tired of training always portraying us women as weak little girls that need saving. Perpetrator accountability within the SHARP program is also highlighted, and this sounds like it's a prevention-based program telling us how to not get harassed or assaulted, basically putting the responsibility on the victim rather than coming down hard on the perpetrator instead. These candid responses from the soldiers revealed much more than the SHARP program's deficiencies. It actually exposed underlying issues such as the lack of LGBTQ support, the illustration of women as weak and vulnerable, and also institutional betrayal. Moving forward, although many flaws were voiced about SHARP, solutions were shared too. A complete program update is needed where all demographics are properly and equally represented. Also less PowerPoint slides. A suggestion was also made for an outside civilian, such as a social worker, to teach the training instead. And this person would be an unbiased and confidential source to provide support to both victims and perpetrators. This study did not include the normal demographics such as race, ethnicity, and age, which could possibly be a factor in the program perception. Therefore, it's a limitation. Also, it was restricted to only active duty members. So future studies could explore the SHARP program in National Guard and reservist components for program comparison. As I've shared before, I am a veteran and I've sat in some of these trainings. Therefore, I am aware of my own biases. It was important for me as the primary researcher to be aware of reflexivity and my responses and reactions to the participants' answers to make sure their answers weren't swayed in any way. Social workers are embedded in the Army as civilian support resources. We also work very closely with higher level SHARP program leadership in the development and the betterment of this program. So the findings from this study could be utilized to help restructure the program and possibly start new ones. Service members are fighting an invisible war against each other, and the results of this conflict are proven to be catastrophic to unit readiness, with even more damages to the individual's mental and physical well-being. Therefore, the need for an effective prevention program is paramount. As social workers, we can aid in improving this program and provide quality training to reinforce the Army's safety, cohesion, and morale so that our soldiers can continue to fight and protect our country. Here is a QR code for my references if you'd like to view them, along with my contact information for further discussion. This concludes my presentation. Mahalo and have a great day.